What's up, everybody? I'm Jeff, and this is Mini Garage Alternator Edition. I said something last week about the alternator giving me a bad time, so I already got mad, kinda, and chopped the wiring out of it, but we're gonna take that little guy out of there. And we're going to take that little guy out of there, and we're going to put our new Power Master GM one wire 150 amp polished alternator in. I got it off of Amazon, and we'll hope we can make everything line up and work. So I'll let you take a peek at that next. This is our new Power Master alternator. Part number 67293, 150 amp, 1V pulley, 1 wire or 3 wire, 12 volt. And here it is. It is polished, it's not chrome. Power Master logo on it. 1 wire here where we're going to add. If you wanted to add the 3 wires, you'd pull this cap off and 3 wire it up. So I'm going to start ripping and tearing and pulling the old one out. So you see I cut the wire here and I cut the wire here because we're not going to use it. There's still a plug in the back here. I'm going to rip that out. And then it's got a bolt here and a bolt here at the bottom and the belt. So I'll take those off and rip this out. Out with the old. Now the first thing I'm going to do is set this new one in here and see if the pulleys line up with the bracket that's already in here from the factory. That's a dream, but I hope it works out. You, camera, are in the way. I already know that the lower pulley's not going to line up worth a darn, or the lower bracket. But if I'm close, and it doesn't look like I'm close, if I just sit this here, it's off at the top. So the key is to get all this stuff to line up, because if it doesn't line up and you don't have proper belt alignment, it will wear stuff out. Yeah, and it's not gonna, I don't know, you can see here that the belt is coming down at an angle. So that is not gonna work, which is really too bad. So I think I'm gonna have to space this out a little bit to move it out where I want it at the top. So let's take a look for some spacers and see what we can find. So as you can see, well, maybe you can, hopefully right in here, I put 5/16 washers to space it, bracket out. and I'm pretty close to being lined up, except the pulley, the fan on the alternator is hitting the factory Mazda bracket right here. I can't turn it. So I'm going to run down to the store and see if I can get me a small block Chevy bracket. It's long and it should have more throw to it than what I'm looking at, and while I'm there I'm going to peek at a bottom mount too, so we'll see what we can find out. So for the first problem, I think I got this shiny chrome small block Chevy bracket, and you see here it widens out, so it spaces it further out. Probably too far. I might have to put it behind here to get that out where I want. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see. That's a little, I thought that was going to be good enough, but that might be too much. That's for a long water pump, and I think it will put that out too, yeah, that'll be too far. So that's not going to work. They do make one for a short water pump that I might go try to get. The other one, the bracket for the bottom, is this one here, and I think I can re-drill the holes and have it bolt right there, and won't be down as low, or I'll use those lower mounting spots there and mount it to the block. I think that'll work, and that'll give us the adjustability where we want the bottom to sit. So once we get the top figured out, the bottom should go in. So I guess I will look at pulling these bottom brackets off, and that's bigger than a 12. Smaller than my 17 that I already have. I gotta get more tools. There we go, bracket, Junko. And I think, like I said, we'll put that other one on here. And that should hold that alternator basically wherever we want. We can put it up here, put it down here. I think it'll go on the bottom. So I took this small block Chevy header bracket and I bolted it up here. I put it, there's a hole here that I put it in first, and it didn't line up the pulleys right. So I moved it forward and I've got that bolt in there. I'm gonna have to pull it off and drill another hole here, but that's where it's gonna live. I went back to the parts store and I got a different bracket. This one is more straight. It doesn't kick out like the other one did, and it should work. So the next thing I'm going to do is drill this, and we'll be right back. So I took my little bracket off, and I used the old bracket that I took off as a template, and I drilled a hole in my template, and it should, I mean, things never go my way, but it should line up in here, and so that should go in there, and this should go if everything. Oh, look at that. It never goes that easy for me. I would usually have to slot something and make it fit. So, as you can see, that will bolt up right where I want it now. And be pretty sturdy. And this is the top part of a small block Chevy header mount. So they mount the alternators to the headers on some small block Chevys, and this is the top piece to that bracket. And I was looking at it at the store, and I was like, oh, I think that's what's going to work. So, and sure enough, here we are. So, get that snugged up. And that uses the stock bolts that were in it, and now the bottom bracket is in. Now, for the top bracket, like I said, I just went back to the store, and that shiny chrome is, but this is a straight piece, and I bolted it in with, I went to the hardware store and got a metric socket head. So the bracket came with this pretty shiny one, but it's SAE thread and wouldn't thread into the factory piece. So I went to the hardware store and got a 8mm, and the thread pitch is 1.25, and it bolted right in. So the next thing is to fit the alternator in there. And the belt, as you can see, move the camera around a little bit. The belt lines up there. Everything's good. On the bottom, and on the top, this lines up, but there's still a little gap in here, and you could use a spacer. I'm going to use a few washers. And put it. There's the bolt that was supplied with the alternator. I'm going to slide it in here. Slide these washers. If I made a spacer, it would be really cool. Just trying to get this kind of done. I might make one later. But it lines up. Everything is good there. Let's tighten it, stretch it down here a little bit. There we go, all tightened down. I do need to put a nut on the bottom to tighten it up, but that's it. Now we can run the wiring, and all it is a single wire from here to the battery, and it'll charge it. So we probably will do that on the next episode. yeah, there you go. Well, that was rad. I loved installing our Power Master alternator in our Mazda pickup. We're going to have a top end of 150 amps of power. It's going to cruise around at 125 amps and a idle of 100. So it should be plenty of power to run all the batteries, compressors, and everything I'm running in the truck. While I was doing this, I took a couple pictures and put it on Facebook, and one of our subscribers said, hey, I want to see how you did the batteries, so we're going to get that. We're going to get to that real soon. So the next time we're going to run the wiring from the alternator all the way to the back of the truck, and I'll show you guys how we isolate the batteries and how all that's done. It should be a good time. Real quick, check out Our Lifestyle Podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get your podcast. OLP is down for the cause, no doubt about it, and they're good friends of the show, so check them out. And they also have a YouTube channel where they do some mini truck reviews, mini trucking magazine reviews, and I think they've posted some of their podcasts on YouTube. So check out Our Lifestyle Podcast, and if you're not a subscriber, make sure you are. Till next time, Mini Garage, we're out.